Welcome back. Now, the chapters that we read today reiterated much of what we read yesterday. Although the Israelites had sinned from the beginning, basically the beginning of their existence, they remain God's chosen instruments and his people throughout his generation, or their generation, or generations actually. Another key theme was that God was the one true God, and worshipping idols was folly, and it was practiced by empty-headed people who took from what he had created. Now, listen, they took from what he had created to craft something to worship. Like that didn't make any sense. It was man-made and it would be destroyed because God created what they were trying to worship instead of worshiping the God who created the thing. I mean, thinking about it now, and in the context of idolatry, like with those idols that you can see, because many people are guilty of idolatry with idols that we cannot see, but then this one was particularly funny to me. God is sovereign over all things. We see this over and over in this book. Even those who don't acknowledge him. For example, King Cyrus of Persia, he didn't acknowledge God, but he was used as an instrument to accomplish God's purpose. We must remember that we serve a God who makes even his enemies bend to his will. In chapter 46, Isaiah drew a vivid contrast between the Lord and idols, and we learned that when Persia conquered Babylon, the fleeing people took their heavy idols and placed them on their already overburdened animals. And, the idols did not even provide deliverance for them from the Persians. Instead, they provided a burden. But then contrast that to our God who we don't need to carry. He's the one who carries us. I just thought that was just so boss. Isaiah predicted the fall of Babylon in chapter 47. God used Babylon, like I said, to discipline his people, but Persia will then conquer them. Babylon and the Lord would conquer Babylon, and the Lord will rescue his people from them because he promised to humble the arrogant, entitled, and wicked Babylon. Not so fun fact. Babylon is a metaphor used to describe evil systems in the book of Revelation. It's just a metaphor that symbolizes evil, so too bad for them. In chapter 48, God addresses his people. Did you notice how he interchangeably called them Joseph, Israel, and Judah? For me, I thought that spoke to just their shiftiness, because at this point, they were far from God. They were just paying lip service to him and, claiming to know him. But in reality, they actually didn't know God, which was why God kept, referring to them in those ways, because Jacob was the shifty before he became Israel, before they were split into Judah. So I think it was speaking to the different phases that they had, gone through as his people. They were described as obstinate, stubborn, idolaters, deaf, treacherous, and rebellious. The Israelites gave the appearance of being religious, but they didn't obey God's commandments. God reminded them of who he is. He let them know that he had warned them about the exile, but their deafness prevented them from hearing. He called them to listen to the new things that he was getting ready to do. This was God telling them of the coming Messiah. He alluded to the things that he will do for his name's sake. He withheld his anger to show himself as the God who forgives sinners. Now, here's what I learned about God. We never seek God in vain. He never calls us to. Once we're coming to seek God, we're coming to seek him for gain. Let me just use the word gain very loosely. In 45:19, it says, I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I did not say to the seed of Jacob, seek me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare the things that are right. Now, he was speaking to the Israelites, reminding them of the relationship that he had with them all along. God responds to our desire to get to know him. So don't ever think that whatever it is that you're doing is in vain. Don't think that even getting to know him through his word is in vain, because little by little, I don't know about you, but me, I see my life just being transformed on this journey. And I hope and I know that it will be the same for you. So that's it today. Tomorrow we'll continue. But now we'll go to 2 Kings 19 and some of the Psalms. See you here.